All right, boys, today we got ourselves the Torp Motors TC500, and we're gonna be installing this on this bad Larry of a Surron X that we just finished putting a bunch of other parts and pieces on. So go check the other videos if you wanna see how it became this form. This kit comes with everything you need, pretty much. It comes with the controller, it comes with the wire extenders to get down to the controller, and it comes with a nice little kit with your 2 hex key sizes that you need and some extra bolts for the mounting of this. First thing that we're gonna wanna do here is we're gonna wanna make sure that the battery is out of the bike. So now what we're gonna wanna do here is start the removal process of the old stock controller. Come right on over here, and what we're gonna see first is you have 2 of the smaller hexes up here. You have 1 and 2, and then you have 2 of the larger hexes right here, and then the same on the other side. Now the next thing we're going to want to do is pop the front 2 bolts out of the skid plate. So we're going to go ahead and pop these loose. Same on the other side. And then all you have to do is pretty much just press down right here, and just you'll kind of just be able to spin it down a little bit. Right about there is fine. We'll take this 2 bolts up here that are in your frame, and we'll loosen these right off as well. By taking these 2 bolts out, we'll be able to move that tray backwards where the battery was. So now you can just grab this here and pull it back a little bit. You can see how we kind of generate some room. The other 2 bolts that hold the top of the controller in, that sit right up in there. So we'll use a Phillips head, and we will go into the bottom right here, and we will take these 2 little set bolts out that hold in this little. Now we can go ahead and start removing the stock controller. So you're just going to want to pull it out nice and slow to make sure you don't pinch any of the cables or wires. And there she is. So follow this cable up to the 3 connectors, and then you're going to want to unplug those 3. There you go. So now that you got these 3 connectors, sometimes they can be a little tangled up in there between the wiring here for the horn or some of the other connectors up here. So you're just going to want to carefully remove these 3 connectors here. And now you're going to want to work down to the bottom here, pulling out your positive and negative and your phase wires. And that is how you pretty much remove your stock controller. So it comes with its own hardware, so we can go ahead and remove your stock hardware bolts right out of the phase connectors. You don't need these anymore. And start by taking these bolts right on out of the connectors. Another quick thing that we're going to do here is we're going to take these 2 brackets off, because this is where the Torp controller is going to mount. Alright, so when you take those 4 bolts out, this whole cover will come right off. Go ahead and set that aside. And now we'll go ahead and start the installation of the Torp controller. So the only thing that's really important about this to remember is that blue goes to blue, green goes to green, yellow goes to yellow, positive and negative. You can always reference the build configuration that it comes with. However, they are easily labeled, so you shouldn't really need to worry about it. So in the kit, it will come with 2 bigger screws and 2 smaller screws. For this particular, you're going to use 2 smaller screws. These will be your 2 mounting screws for the Torp controller. So we're going to go ahead and put this in. This wire should be going to the left side, and this will be on your right. So just go ahead and fish it right on in there. And now from the back side here, you will thread these through the top hole and into the controller housing. Once you get it set there, go ahead and take your Allen key and just tighten it right up. So to start connecting the phase wires, you're gonna take this cable here and just tuck it to the side of the controller. And from there, you're just gonna keep this little bundle up and tucked away. Take the phase wires and bring them out in front. So now what you wanna make sure is that you don't have them, if you don't wanna tangle these, you wanna make sure they stay in the correct order. So blue goes to blue, green goes to green, and yellow will go to yellow. Something should look like that when it's done. So we'll go ahead and start using the bolts that they gave us with this kit, and we'll start with the blue one.
Put one washer underneath or on top?
Everything goes on top.
Okay.
You want a direct contact from the connector to that. So you're gonna want to directly stick it on there. All right, so we'll take the blue connector and we'll start with that first. Next, we will do the green connector. And again, we'll just snug that right up. Don't want those coming off. All right, now, again, be very, very, very aware as to what's happening. Your black is your negative, and your red is your positive. So make sure that you put the black to the negative and the red to the positive. So we'll take the last two, and our black will again go to the negative. And our red is our positive, and we will drop that right on in like this, and we'll tighten that up as well. So we're gonna go around here and plug in our connector into the bottom or the top of the controller. Go ahead and click that right in. You'll hear an audible click. You might have to press down pretty hard, but you'll hear a click. After you hear the click of the top, that big connector to the top of your controller, we're gonna go back inside here and we're gonna find those three connectors that we had unplugged before, and we're just gonna find the corresponding connectors with the three that we now have as before. So these are pretty obvious. We can even just pull them down here so you can see better. So we'll just pull them to the bottom of the bike so you can see them from underneath. So these are the three connectors that you have. And these are your new connectors coming off. This fourth one you don't need to do anything with. So obviously your triangle goes to your triangle. Again, listen for the audible click. And then your square will go with the square. And again, listen for that click. And the last one is your rectangle. And it's nice and in there. Okay, now that all your connectors are attached, we can tuck them back into the bike, making sure that your cable management stays good, and we'll start pushing this back forward. Work it back in there, keeping your cable management nice. And then once you get it back into position, press this forward until you see the holes line up. Something like that. And then we're gonna go ahead and reinstall those bolts. And then make sure those are tight. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and reinstall our skid plate. So we're just gonna casually push that back up and get our bolts ready. And we're just gonna go ahead and reinstall our skid plate. Now the last step is to go ahead and take our Torp controller cover and slide it right in. Slides right in like that. And then we're just gonna go ahead and press, watch out for your cable, for your horn. And we're just gonna put that just on top of the cover. And we're just gonna press the cover right on in. and then you'll see your 2 bolt holes line up. And then the other 2 bolts that the kit comes with will go there. We're just gonna start spinning that one in. And then on this side here, we're just gonna go ahead and tuck these cables into the back of the controller cover here, and we'll put that second screw right on in, and we'll just tighten that right on up as well. And there you have it. There is your controller install. It looks nice and flush. It has a nice sleek design to it, tucks in really well. The big difference for these controllers versus the BAC 4000 is you'll notice how the phase wires did not have to be extended. They just were able to bolt straight to the controller, which is a big plus because it saves you quite a bit of time. And the sleek design of it, it really does tuck into the bike nice. It looks really good.